Let it Let it Let it Let it Let it Let it
Hello, good evening. I gave you all a longer commercial tonight, waiting for some more people to get on. I see we're just up to 67. Leah, turn that light off and see if I'm do better. Just give me a few minutes to play around here. We're making some changes around this place. It takes a minute. It's a lag on YouTube. Still a little weird. I'll have to learn this camera. Good evening. Come on in. 67 of us. Come on in. Brittany was trying to be the first tonight for 6 o'clock. Hey, Booker. Good evening. Thank you. Ebony said we can see and hear you. Like, let's get this show on the road. We're not going to wait any longer. I'm tired of playing with my backgrounds tonight, so we just gonna work it like this tonight. Give y'all like a real upfront and personal view of what it takes to make this happen around here. Dominique, you ought to be whipped. Oh, okay. Actually, Dajanay got it tonight. Hey, Kingdom citizens, but who has the best seat? I do. 5:02 p.m. I love this. 5:04. Gwyneth was trying to catch up on there. It was Dominique on the YouTube, and I think I got it on Facebook around 4:30 p.m. This is so good for me. Thank you. Gwyneth says, please like and share. Okay, looks like Gwyneth is now a part of So Detox. She said, please get your ebook. Dominique says, ebook ordered. I'm just going to chit chat for just a couple minutes. We're not going to lose a lot of time tonight. Oh my goodness. Dominique said 100 minutes to go. Welcome, Camille. Lily, try that light for me too. That might be the one. Yeah, I should put that countdown up for y'all. Tap it. Tap the post of it. Yep. See if that affects it up here better.
Yeah, that looks good.
On the screen it does? Okay. Good evening, Tasha, Priscilla Brooks, Constant Harmon. Good evening. Good evening, Maria Rodriguez. Yeah, they trying to be number one every night. It's good for my soul. Go for it. Elsie, good evening. Angela Copeland, Sharita, hi. Audria, Bianca, Dolores, hi, Darlene, Prudence, Carmen Ortiz. Hi, Lydia, Lydia Cordova. Hey, Nikolai. Chevelle. We're getting it done. Chantil, welcome. Ubi, tell mom hello. Don't forget to like and share. I'm going to go ahead and post that now. Don't forget to like and share. Let's see if I can use this a little better. Which one looks better? Ooh, that's big, but I know y'all be complaining. We're going to use that one for tonight. Don't forget to like and share. Good evening. Macadamia what, Joyce? Do you have macadamia nuts? Please like and share. Please take your time to go on and like on YouTube. I want to thank you for all of those that still have, I think y'all went out there and kind of like with your picket signs and asked people to go on and register on YouTube. 7 more people registered today. We are now up to 937 subscribers on YouTube. And I don't know how to do my clap yet. I need my headphones. What y'all hearing? Are y'all hearing anything? I really want to wear headphones. What y'all hear? Did y'all hear anything? 937. Which I think we were already at. So some things must have shifted around a little bit. You heard a drum roll? Drums. Okay, let me find the hand claps. Tell me what this sounds like. Forgive me. We're at 937. You think we can hit 1,000 before the end of next week? There's the claps. Thank you, Corindas. There's the clap. So the clap is on button C. I need Tasha and Super Joe over here every night so they can handle all this for me because I'm working all these on my own. I think I can hold it longer. Welcome, everyone, to So Detox, January 6, 2023. 6th night on January 7th, 2023. Welcome. Was that longer? Oh, Dominique said that was too short. Dominique asked me to do it again. Come on, Kamisha, let's sew. 1,000, here we come. Yes. Awesome. Welcome. So glad to have this time with everyone today. I know a few people told me they kind of like, they were hit by the 4th night. And then I got a few comments that last night kind of took out another bunch of people. So they're still coming on. We're only at 90 right now, but people are still coming on. It is Saturday night. And we kind of get to test to see what nights people kind of like fall off on and which nights it seems to be more of a replay. So this is all good analytics for us. Sharita's having technical difficulties. Oh, we're going to work that out, Rita. Don't worry about it. We're going to work it out. I wonder if that made me look. No, because then it goes back to that funny look, right? This is so weird. I can't figure it out this year, but I'm going to get to it. Just change the screen around a little bit. I'm just trying to see what these adjustments are doing, but it doesn't look like they're doing much for me. I like perfection, and anything less than that really gets on my nerve. Okay. Okay, now I see what it's doing. It's got that little fuzzy around my head. Made it through the week. Absolutely. I'm on my way home, had dinner with my family. I'll catch the replay. Awesome. All right, we're at 97. Good evening, Apostle Pamela Johnson. Let's go ahead while I just greeted someone down yonder a little bit. Let's everyone go in and put in what state or country you're signed in from. Last night I was saying states, and then I realized we have Canada, we have Jamaica. The clap sounded good. Thank you, Ebony. She approved. I'm working it out, Tasha. All right, Connecticut, of course, is going to come in strong. That's my location. The heartbeat. Welcome, Massachusetts. Connecticut is in the house. That's respect, right? That's respect. Come on, Delaware. Come on, Darien. Georgia, come on. I see you. All right, it's time to get started. How are we doing? How many of y'all ordered the ebook last night? How many were able to go in and order the ebook? Ebony, have you logged in yet and checked the analytics on that? I want to thank another client of mine. I know she likes to remain a little more private, but she ordered the package. My coaches set up a package and made a flyer for it. I know it's on my Facebook page. It may be, of course, on the Spaces app as well, where you can buy all three for a lesser price. So if you hadn't already purchased any of the first or second one, you can purchase all three for a discounted group price for the 3 collection of the series. And that's on there. We'll make sure that that's on the Spaces app as well. Thank you. Thank you. Ohio is in the house. New Haven is in the house. Ebook is ordered. My home state is Delaware. All right. I got another ordered, pre-ordered, ordered. Mission accomplished. I just received the red book. Very good. They're going out now. Awesome. Welcome, Maria from Springfield. Another one ordered the ebook last night. Thank you all so much. Apostle Ramai, welcome. He said he's ordering tonight. I know some of us are still old school and we like that paper copy in our hand. That one should be up in the next 72 hours, the latest. So welcome, Brooklyn, New York. Who is in Delaware on here? Please raise your hand. Aubrey wants to know. Aldelisa, what's the file you posted so I can put it over there? Another one says ordered. Okay, the bundle. I see it. I don't know if this is going to show as an image or just it's just going to show as a group text. I'm going to buy all 3. Thank you, Renee Walton. So if you do, those who ordered it from my website, Amazon ended up posting the self-awareness book, making it available. Of course, they're a big mogul, right? They ended up making it available before the shipment had even reached me, my house. So some people who ordered it on Amazon, they're getting it now. And I'm still waiting for my shipment. That's what happens sometimes, even though, I received the author's copy. And then after the author's copy, when I finalize it, catch any last minute typos and such, then they usually send me the shipment, but they give it to the distributors usually first. So I'll probably receive my shipment by Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, thereabouts, and they're going to go out the same day. Don't worry about it. Prefer the paper copy. Yep, exactly. A lot of people do, and we'll have those, and we'll maybe even have some giveaways. I'm in the bad habit now is where I end up buying the paper copy and I have the ebook. And I do that because I teach and I preach. So sometimes when I want to make reference to some material and I don't have the book in my briefcase because you can't fit 6, 5, 4, 3 books in your briefcase, then I always like it on my Kindle because I have it wherever I go. And if I'm somewhere and I have to wait and I didn't expect it, just open it up and I start reading a book. I start doing some of my classwork and things like that. So the Kindle is really the way to go, especially now. You can highlight. You can copy and paste. You can copy and paste into notes. You can put sticky notes in Kindle. And on each page, you'll see a little sticky note and you click on it. It opens up as a bigger sticky note and you can put your notes on it or some revelation you got from God or some scriptures that is confirming what you read. So don't be afraid of it. It's not limited. You don't have to look for a highlighter, buy a pen, buy the thumb tabs. It's all in there electronically. Yeah, it's probably some control issue we have, Dominique, where we have to have paper and electronic. Brenda Berry says Delaware right here is in the house. Thank you, Adelisa. Got your message. All right, so let's get this party started. How's everyone doing? Let's go ahead and give a mass hello. We only have 96 people in here tonight. Maybe we're not sharing it enough. Can I get a few more of y'all who have not shared to go ahead and share? Maybe people are just out enjoying their January since we're not in the sub-zero freezing weather with tons of snow. Have y'all seen the news today? I'm a big news person because I believe God shows us things for a reason. And Buffalo, New York. Oh my God. Have you seen it, Leah?
Yes.
Buffalo, New York. It's horrible, horrible, horrible. The amount of snow that they got, the state of an emergency. They've had to have the, I forget which part of the military come in and literally use huge military equipment to move the cars out of the snow. Snow is up to their doors. They can't get out. Electricity is off. Stores are closed. Grocery stores are closed. There's no heat, and hopefully they're better now. This was a few days ago. Hopefully they're better now. But Buffalo, New York is not too far from us here in Connecticut, the National Guard. Thank you, Corindas. So it looks like, yes, Booker. So it looks like, I'm sorry, but I know I prayed. Anybody else prayed? Because the price of oil and the temperature in Connecticut has not been really a good season for us. So I said, look, we got to push back some things. And I didn't mean to push all that over there on Buffalo, New York. So I've been praying for Buffalo, New York, 9 hours away. Can get there. You can drive there yourself in a day. That's really close. And they are hammered. And I think we were in 55-degree temps that day. They were hammered. So pray for Buffalo. And then the other horrible thing in the news that I'm going to bring up, and I'm bringing it up because it goes with what we're teaching right now. And if you have an opportunity to gather an audience and just mention to people, how do you cope when you're angry? How do you cope when you're sad? How do you cope when you're feeling down or depressed? Have some conversations with people because people do not know how to cope. And if the parents don't know how to cope, what kind of job do you think we are doing with the children of these parents? I think it's cutting my face off again. Ebony's going to have a fit. What do you think is going to happen with the parents if the parents don't know how to cope? How do you think the children are learning how to cope? They're probably not. Hey, we just hit 100. Very good. We're up to 101. See, y'all started sharing and look what happened. What was he? A first grader. It was in the news today. A first grader shot his teacher in Virginia. A first grader shot his teacher in Virginia. Forgive me if my facts are incorrect on the state, but that was what's in my mind. Always fact check me if you feel. I have no problem with it. I don't use the platform to lie or to front or to spread any false information. This is all about education and information. A first grader shot his teacher in Virginia. Oh my God. Like, that's all I can say about it. There was no other solution that this child thought of before shooting. There was no, I'm going to cuss at the teacher. I'm going to skip class. I'm going to tell my parents. I'm going to tell my older brothers and sisters. I'm going to, what's some things we do when we get mad at people as a child, in a child's mind? Thank you. Ebony says I'm right. That memory is coming to work. Thank you, Candy. She said I got it right. Awesome. Newport News, Virginia, Emmanuel says. What is some of the things that when we were mad at our teachers, what we would do? We'd probably shut up because we'd get a whipping at home, right? Right. That's my question. Exactly. Where did a first grader get a gun? Well, I lived a very, what do I want to say? Rebellious lifestyle growing up. So I can probably understand where the child got the gun from. But there was no other thoughts to get back at this teacher without fear of a punishment, a spanking, being suspended, the principal's office, being expelled, having to deal with your parents, walk out of class. Come on, Dajanay. This is a young lady. We've got to start teaching. Gather up some people in your local library, in the apartment complex where you live. Don't bring them to your house. Go to their house and just say, I want to work. I want to bring up something that I've been learning, and let's just have a group one Tuesday a month. And we got to reach people, man. And everybody's not coming to the church. They're either going to the morgue or they're going to jail. So we have got to start reaching people with, come on, Gina, with mental health solutions. And y'all have got enough to help yourself with. Hey, Josh, God bless you. You're getting enough to help yourself with, but we got to get this gospel out to other people. People do not know how to cope. So let me read this, and then I'm not going to read the introduction tonight, and we're going to get in. Please understand that Suzanne M. Howard is not the coach or counselor for the viewers that are on my show. And I am not operating in the role of being a therapist to whomever is viewing. This site is for information and education only. I want to make that clear. And now we can start our work. How's everyone doing tonight? As we say in our church service, are all hearts and minds clear? So we got a lot of work done last night. Y'all doing okay with it? Okay, I think I'm going to go up just a little bit for the review purposes. Not too far, maybe just 2 paragraphs, maybe 1 paragraph from the book. When you get the book, if you want to know where we're at, when you download your ebook tomorrow, right now I'm going to pick up from page 17. So if you catch up on just those few pages, you'll be right in with us. And just to help you out, to show you how not difficult this is, chapter 1 starts on page 11. We're only at 17. So we're really going to start moving when we start going through the individual defense mechanisms. So we're not doing too bad here. All right, let me read. Coping takes place consciously. Defense mechanisms take place unconsciously. Defense mechanisms are like automatic thoughts. They happen without your permission. They happen without you knowing. They happen unbeknownst. They're unannounced to your conscious moment. You are not there in the moment, and it would just shoot up, or it would just happen automatically. So don't be surprised when you go through these 30 days that you're not automatically discovering, man, I've got a lot of defense mechanisms in place. I've got a lot of coping mechanisms in place. Welcome. All right, Brittany, still reflecting on last night. I'd like to hear y'all feedback. Shoot some stuff up there or shoot me an email. Thank you so much, Josh. We pray traveling mercies on your flight. So let's go on here. Bad coping takes place when mechanisms such as drug abuse, smoking, drinking, and similar bad behaviors are undertaken by the person suffering from a threat, and as a result, uses a mechanism that is denial or repression focus. These behaviors may provide a likely relief to the person. For example, smoking a cigarette, but it will leave long-term counter effects on the body and brain of the person, which can later prove to be fatal for the individual. Whereas good coping mechanisms can be described as conscious decisions that are undertaken by any individual to deal with the environmental threat, perceived threat, assumed threat, to deal with the environmental threat positively and healthy. So if that's a conscious step, that means you have to learn it. You have to learn it so that you can apply it. This is not going to happen automatically. Isn't it amazing how bad habits can kind of seem to be a lot easier and they're so automatic, but you have to practice to not be bad. You have to practice to not have bad habits, but you have to practice good habits. To have no discipline is so easy, but to be disciplined, you have to put disciplines in place and practice them. Isn't that amazing? That's why you need the Holy Spirit. Talk to us on that. We'll tell you about the Holy Spirit. He's a helper. So coping mechanisms can be described as conscious decisions that are undertaken by any individual to deal with the environmental threat positively and healthily. A few examples of good coping mechanism behavior may be reassessing your expectations and lowering them to be more realistic about a particular situation. Did you hear that? A few examples of good coping behavior may be first, reassessing your expectations and lowering them to be more realistic. Make sure you stay in the realistic vein about a particular situation. Seeking help from professionals or peers to better deal with the situation. Engaging yourself in a problem-solving approach rather than a problem-focused approach, wherein you focus on curating solutions for the threat, finding alternative remedies for the threat. To relieve frustration, you can also try exercising, journaling, meditating, i.e. prayer, and many more counter-effective remedies. Counter-effective remedies. To sum it up, everything that has been said so far, we can conclude that defense mechanisms and coping mechanisms often meet at an intersection, wherein coping mechanisms can be considered a conscious decision after realizing that an unconscious defense mechanism is at play. So in the beginning, what I just said was you're going to mess up a few times because it's been automatic for you. It's not just a learned behavior. It's an automatic behavior. So it's going to take a few of those. You may not realize that you haven't used your coping mechanism until after the defense mechanism has already popped up. So don't kick yourself. Don't let anyone say, oh, you were on there for 30 days and you didn't learn anything. Oh, you were on there for 30 days and you're just a hypocrite. You're just learning cliches and you just pumping up so detox, but you're not applying anything to your life. Sometimes you don't know where to apply or consciously realizing that subconsciously a behavior is still taking place until you've already messed up. So don't let anyone throw you off on that. There's nothing to be thrown off on that. We owe no conversation to anyone, no explanation to anyone. This work is to be done by an individual, and it's a conscious work with unconscious behaviors. That's why mental health is so tricky and can be so difficult. These mechanisms are used by the human body as a signal identifying that there is a threat perceived, which may affect the individual's functioning in everyday life if not dealt with. As a result of this may be a benefit for the person experiencing the threat to first evaluate the defense mechanism that's being used at a subconscious level, and based on that, formulate a coping strategy to deal with that particular threat to living their best life. All right. So you're in my office, close the door, have a seat. Get yourself a glass of water, your favorite throw. If you're like me and you always like a little throw on you, I want you to sit back. I want you to take that time and take that deep breath in your nose and breathe out your mouth. Every problem or every weight or everything that's been overwhelming you, everything that has been distracting you, just take that in with your breath that goes in your nose. Take all those thoughts in, and then as you breathe out, release all of them. They are not your responsibility right now. You can't control them right now. You can't even respond to them right now. You are in session by yourself with your mental health coach. And if you want, we can be on that cliff again in Hawaii with the sun shining and the water. You can hear it in your nose. In your senses, you can sense the smell of lavender. There is your favorite beverages in front of you for the session, a little bit of snacks. If you need a little emotional eating, healthy snacks are there for you. But the atmosphere, the landscape is just beautiful. And it's all about you, and it's all about your coach. And we're going to talk a little bit deeper now, because this is the assignment that I want to give you. And if you want to turn your assignment in, if you download the Spaces app that we've been pushing and pushing and pushing for several nights, and you go to your member profile page and it has inbox. It says either inbox or send message. Just go in there and give me your report on this assignment that I'm getting ready to give you. Just update it right there. Each message that comes in, I get to read personally, and I can respond personally. I'll give you a thumbs up or amen, or I'm giving you high five back at you, or I may give you a comment on it, depending on how deep into the assignment you went. So this is what I want you to do. I'm going to read this statement again, and then this is the assignment that I'm going to have you do for this week. We're not done yet, but I want to give you the assignment now. These mechanisms are used by the human body as a signal, identifying that you perceive something as a threat. Doesn't mean it is a threat, but you're perceiving it as a threat. And it's affecting your functioning. You're functioning in your everyday life. And if not dealt with, you can continually go through this feeling of a threat for hours and days and months and even years. And then it begins to deteriorate your health. As a result of this, it is of a benefit to you, for you, the person, whatever it is you're experiencing of this threat, to evaluate your automatic response. Evaluate what your defense mechanism is when you feel overwhelmed, when you feel threatened by something, when you feel that there's so much on your plate and you can't handle it. And you could almost feel the anxiety to get ready to overwhelm you, or your thoughts get ready to start racing over you. Start to think right there, catch it right there. What is it that you feel like doing? And that's usually a defense mechanism. So I want you to pay attention to that. That's another assignment. This is probably your second assignment that I've given you to do to assess yourself over the next 30 days. So catch when you're feeling a perceived threat. And the threat doesn't mean that somebody is getting ready to hit you or you're getting ready to get in a car accident. It does not have to be that severe. It can be something as simple as someone's going to ask me for something again, and I'm tired and I'm not good at saying no. So I'm going to say yes, and I'm not going to be able to get it done, or I'm not going to be able to rest. Or it's something that causes you to like that moment of fear, but not so much of a threat that's physical. So think right away what it is that you get ready to walk out, your avoidance, your escapism, denial. I want you to look for those things. And when you begin to notice them for the first few days, just pay attention to them. That's all. I just want you to monitor them, like watch your bad behaviors. Okay. Just for a few days. After that, I want you to begin to come up with your own coping strategy to deal with those feelings when you feel like that, instead of resorting to what you normally resort to. Do you get that? Let's see what we have up here. Evaluate and or think what it is you feel like doing. Catch it when you are feeling a perceived threat. So when you get ready to go into that automatic behavior, that automatic response, chalk it up. And you may not notice it right away. Give yourself 3 days or so. And sometimes it can be anxiety. The anxiety will kick in and you'll know, oh, I'm perceiving something as a threat. And the threat can be something simply as someone else asking me to do something for them. I'm feeling overwhelmed right now. It could be a dangerous physical threat, or it could be something that's just, it's a bother to you. Catch what it is that you feel like doing, or what it is that you actually end up doing when you feel like that. Monitor it for a few days or the first week. Then what I want you to do, I want you to catch it. I want you to assess it. And I want you to come up with a formula to cope. Someone can write that down for me. Assess it, catch it, and formulate. There we go. Thank you. You want to assess it because you want to watch for it. And then we want to catch it. When we catch it, that means it's actually in our possession now. We can't deny it. We can't reason with it. We can't repress it. We caught it. And now that we caught it, formulate, put together something that you're going to do instead of the same old thing you would normally do. Does that work? Can somebody write that down for me too? I want to make sure I don't forget that when we're done. We may have to add that in the journal that I'm making to come along with this. Night 6 is about assessing, catching, and formulating. I like that. All right. So we're in here together. It's just you and I. I hope that your day was good. I hope that you were able to rest this weekend, and with all the errands and such that you had to do, I hope that you were able to enjoy some time with you, sometimes in your faith, some time with your Lord. Now just take a deep breath for me again, in your nose and out your mouth. Thank you for coming in today. I'm glad that you're sticking to the program. Why do we form defense mechanisms? You can probably all summarize it at this point. Why do we form defense mechanisms? We can all pretty much say it now. I'm hoping you're trained to that level, right? Our addictions and mental health issues bring along with them all kinds of coping mechanisms and defense mechanisms, many of which we engage in compulsively and by default, but without realizing we're even doing them. We might not be aware of them until someone brings them to our attention. We might continue them for years, even for the most parts of our lives, without even being aware of them. Some of us will instinctively use denial, avoidance, secrecy, dishonesty, control, manipulation, either within our own selves or with the people in our lives. Let me read that again because that was heavy. Our addictions and mental health issues bring along with them all kinds of coping mechanisms and defense mechanisms, many of which we engage in compulsively and by default, without even realizing that we're doing them. We might not be aware of them until someone brings them to our attention, and then we get mad at the person, right? We might continue them for years or even for the most part of our lives without even being aware of the systematic process that we have inside of us. Some of us will instinctively use denial, avoidance, secrecy, dishonesty, control, or manipulation, either within ourselves or with the people in our lives. This is when your problems become somebody else's problems. We might do things we regret. We might do things we regret, but feel powerless to stop. It can be extremely difficult to feel as though we lack understanding around our defense mechanisms, and part of the work we'll have to do to recover will entail becoming more mindful of our defense mechanisms and working to understand why we developed them in the first place, to figure out how to shed them. It's a lot of work. It's a lot that goes on here. The Bible says we are wonderfully and fearfully made. We overestimate the word wonderful. There was so much of an explosion that went on inside of us when God created us. Everything was knit together, woven together, patterned together, put together with purpose and strategy. There was a purpose for your birth, a purpose for your life. Then the fall came. And now we're dealing with a broken psychology, a broken humanity, dysfunction in the family, dysfunction in our love relationships. So understand that it is extremely difficult, especially when you feel like you lack something in your life, or you feel like, how many times have you said to someone, oh, you think you know me better than I know myself? Yeah, usually that's the case with all of us. Other people know us better than we know ourselves. Even though people who tend to be arrogant kind of look at themselves in the mirror a lot, you're still only learning outer things about yourself. There's a lot that goes on the inside that we experience of each other all our lives that the person themselves never get to experience consciously about themselves. So it can be difficult to feel that I don't know something about myself and someone else knows more about me than I know about myself. So part of your work is going to be to recover. This is all about recovery. So detox is recovery, but we made recovery about drug addictions and alcohol addictions and sex addictions, pornography addictions, and all of that. This is recovery work. We're recovering what was lost, what was stolen, caterpillar, cankerworm, the fall, living in this fallen, yucky nature that we're in. So part of the work is in our recovery will entail becoming more mindful of our defense mechanisms and working to understand why we've developed them in the first place, and then to figure out how to shed them. It's a passenger in your car that you want to put out on the side of the road. It would be them. The majority of our behaviors are governed by the subconscious mind. It's a good statement. Somebody write that down. The majority of our behaviors are governed by the subconscious mind. And that's why when Soul Detox rolled out about 7 years ago, one of the main statements was, you don't know what you don't know about yourself. You don't know what you don't know about yourself, because subconsciously is where most of our behaviors are done. Get down, Destiny. I love to see the young people jumping on here. For many of us, we're subconsciously trying to protect ourselves from being hurt. Can I get any witnesses? For many of us, we are subconsciously trying to protect ourselves from being hurt, being judged, being rejected, feeling unloved, and feeling abandoned. Let me see some hands if anybody can connect with any of those. Thank you, Crystal. Come on, there's 106 of you on here tonight. We're way down. We started out at 167. So some people really, they must have not have been in here in years prior because they jumped off the ship. The ones that's probably hanging on here, probably the OG detoxers. And we're like, okay, we can take it. We can take it. And the rest of the folks is like, this is a new year. I don't have time for me. That's good. I like to see the hand raised. Very good. Now, let me ask you this now. Which one of these resonate the most with you? Which one of these resonate? And you can type the whole word or you can say all. Which are you afraid of as far as feeling the pain? Are you protecting yourself from being hurt? Number one. Yes, you are, Cheryl. OG detoxer. All of the above, says Frederica. Are you protecting yourself from being hurt? From being judged? From being rejected? Feeling unloved? Or abandoned? Which one is really for you? I didn't realize until I started doing this work and getting more into people's lives that a lot of people fear being judged. They don't like being judged, so they avoid being judged, even if it means they have to have this false identity because they want to have this false identity as a coping mechanism, as a defense mechanism, so they won't be judged. Yeah, Cora says it too. People fear being judged. They do not like it. So a lot of us on here and in this world are protecting ourselves out of a fear from being hurt, judged, rejected, feeling unloved, and abandoned. Now, if you were in my physical office with me and we were working together or on a Zoom call and we were having a session, I would ask you now to list in story form all the places where you have been hurt, judged, rejected, felt unloved, or have been abandoned. Because the journaling portion is important because sometimes we take on in our mind things that have happened to us that really didn't happen. Or we find out, I'm not really even upset about it, but I never gave myself permission to release it. We're all trying to protect ourselves from losing people. Is there anyone here that's trying to protect themselves from losing people? We're trying to protect ourselves from feeling the grief and pain of loss. That's right, Deja. And then the work begins. Protect ourselves from losing people, from feeling the grief and pain of loss. We're trying to protect ourselves from consequences that we think we'll suffer if we lose control. Who's afraid of losing control? I guess the first step would be then, who believes that they're in control? And some of us do in certain situations in our life. Some of us got the memo. I can't control any of this. All these years I needed to be in control because I thought being in control kept me safe. Because when I was young and powerless and had no control, people violated me in different ways, mishandled me. So I had made up my mind at a young age that I'm going to always be in control of my own life and never let anyone take that authority over me again that they had when I was under 16 years of age, under the age of 12. So I've determined and made up my mind I'm going to stay in control. I don't care who doesn't like it because no one's going to be able to do this to me again. And then there's those of us that realize, man, I'm not in control of anything. And that's a scary feeling. That's a strong admission. But many of us, we know we don't have any control. We've had too many experiences in life to know that we don't have a thing in the palm of our hands. So we're still, in a way, displaying behaviors to protect us from consequences of the fear that if we lose control, autonomy, or authority within any given situation in our lives, or our relationships, or worse, even within ourselves. I'm displaying these horrible behavior patterns, these defense mechanisms, because I'm trying to protect myself from the consequences of giving up control, autonomy, authority in the situations in my lives, in my relationships, even in myself. Bless you, Chantel. Let the Holy Spirit minister to you. We are afraid of feeling our pain. Come on, y'all. Gotta post Pastor D's. Soul diving begins. Sound like she just threw her pen in the air. We are afraid of feeling pain and having to address our deeply rooted issues without anything to numb them or to distract us from them. We are afraid of living life without addictions of our choice. Remember last night we talked about a person can be your addiction. Our defense mechanisms become our default, our go-to methods of coping with pain and trying to protect ourselves. They often develop after intense traumatic experiences that are destabilizing and that create a foundation of fear within us, a foundation from which we build our fear-based responses. Write that word down. Fear-based responses. We act on our fears more than we do on reality, and we live out our fears. I was taught years and years ago about Job. Job said, the thing that I fear the most has come upon me. Job had begun to live out his fears. Defense mechanisms become our go-to methods for coping. They develop after intense traumatic experiences that are destabilizing and that create a foundation of fear within us, a foundation from which we build our fear-based responses, act on our fears, and begin to live out our fears. If we were emotionally neglected as children, for example, we might start to use manipulation and dishonesty in our relationships to prevent ourselves from ever feeling neglected again. Did you hear that? If we were emotionally neglected as children, and it's been proven emotional abuse is high up there, physical abuse is high up there, but emotional abuse has almost a lifelong, if ever, being helped, the most damage to a child that then becomes an adult. If we were emotionally neglected as children, we might start to use manipulation and dishonesty in our relationships to prevent ourselves from ever feeling neglected or rejected again. We might subconsciously believe that if we shield ourselves from being vulnerable, so instead we become manipulative and dishonest, we'll never again have to experience the deep, traumatic pain of neglect or abandonment. Can we ask for hands tonight? How many feel that maybe you had food on the table and a roof over your head, but emotional neglect was a part of your childhood? Is there anyone tonight that's willing? Remember, we're in our session. It's just you and I together. It's just me and you. Just talk to me. No judgment, safe space, no condemnation, This isn't to talk about anyone who did the best they could in raising you. It's to free you in your confessions of what it is that you did not get as a child. Why is this important to admit to your coach? Because it all starts. Remember, what's the 3 steps we had on last night? Anyone remember those 3 steps? And you've got to remember them because this is a part of your application on what we did tonight. What we say, assess, catch it, and formulate. Right? Yeah. So last night we were leading up to assessing and catching and formulating. And we said the first step was reasoning. And when you can't reason with it, you go into denial. And when you can't denial with it, you go into repression. That's why it's important to talk about this in your sessions. It's not bad mouthing mommy, auntie, grandma, daddy, or anyone that you feel did the best they could. Or maybe you don't believe that they did the best they could, but you just were raised not to put your mouth on adults or put your mouth on people who raised you. But that's not helping you. So that's why we have safe sessions like this, where you don't have to take it anywhere else. I was emotionally neglected as a child. And now most of the times I don't know what I'm feeling. I can't explain what I'm feeling. I can't explain if I'm feeling the right thing to the event. I had all the clothes, all the labels, all the friends. Our family had such a reputation. This isn't my story, but this is someone else's. We were known. We had money. We had nice things. We had cars. But in the house, there was no love. There was no communication. I have clients that told me they had to text to communicate within their own house. They'd never, ever, ever had dinner at the table together, ever. Beautiful dining room set. Couldn't sit on it. Couldn't sit near it. Couldn't go in that room. It was set up for someone, maybe for Jesus to come back, I guess they thought, but it wasn't set up for that family that lived there. Never had a family dinner together. Do you know how important that is for children? Almost at my time. Please understand, defense mechanisms don't help you heal. Yep, get free. Come on, some of y'all feel a little anxiety now, maybe a little pressure in your chest. Maybe your breathing feels a little altered a bit. Maybe you feel the sting of some guilt. That's false guilt. That is not a guilt that you should be carrying for making the confession. It's your experience and no one can take it from you. But if we don't move into assessment, if we don't move into the area of formulating coping mechanisms, your defense mechanisms do not help you to heal. They do not keep you safe, and they do not protect you from harm. They do not. They have been lying to you. And the reason defense mechanisms do not heal, they do not keep you safe, and they do not protect you from harm is because they are rooted in your pain. They are rooted in your pain. And they will always work against you. And they will always compound the many issues and create more suffering for you to have to contend with. Go ahead, Fred, get free. Naomi, get free. Apostle Ramai, Prophet Charlene, Pastor Yashika, come on. Leaders are getting healed, y'all. They're going to have stronger congregations. They're going to be able to feed the sheep of God. Good meals. because the oil that has to run down from us, we have to be ministered somewhere. Go ahead, Destiny. She says, I'm pulling these roots out. You better do it. Our recovery from any addiction and mental illness involves working to understand and then dismantle the defense mechanisms that have been holding us back and preventing our healing. I'm going to talk to you like I want to, like you're alone with me in my office and it's just you and I. We have to get to your defense mechanisms this year of 2023. This has to be the goal. You have to be at the top of the list of priorities for this year. Your healing, your safety, and all harm has been assumed and laid up because we have not confronted these things head on. They are unhealthy, automatic behaviors that are rooted in pain, and they have been working against you, and they've been compounding your many issues. They have created more suffering for you, maybe your family, your relationships. Your recovery from any addiction, even if it's in an unhealthy relationship, and regards to your mental illness, involves working to understand and then dismantle the defense mechanisms that have been holding you back and preventing your healing. It's a good thing I want you to write down right there. I want you to write down your recovery involves working to understand and then dismantling DMs, defense mechanisms. My recovery involves working to understand and then dismantle my DMs. Come on, y'all writing good tonight. What you're writing in the chat is your own personal prescription to yourself. I'm going to start this, but we'll finish this portion on tomorrow night, and then we're going to start chapter 2. So those of you that are getting your books on Monday, it's going to be right on time. All you have to do is go through chapter 1 as a, to catch up from where we've been online. You can underline, highlight, all that great stuff you like to do. But this is the topic that we're going to go in on tomorrow night. Tonight we talked about, let me get to where we were. Tonight we talked about why do we form defense mechanisms? And then we're going to end tonight is how does defense mechanisms work? We're going to end on that line and start that tomorrow night. How does defense mechanisms work? As human beings, we are all designed to protect ourselves from danger. Our will to survive is primal and it's innate, but it isn't limited to physical threats to our life. And now we're getting ready, as Leah would say, the cheese is getting ready to slide off the bread because we're going to go in really deep. As Pastor D said, deep soul diving now. We're turning a corner. We did the surface stuff for a good week. As human beings, we are designed to protect ourselves from danger. Our will to survive is primal and it's innate, but it is not limited to physical threats to our life. From the time you were born, you have developed strategies to cope. From sucking a finger, from sucking a bottle, to mommy's breast, from a pacifier, to a favorite toy, a teddy bear, a blanket, someone coming in the room, answering your cry. Children learn to cry and then they see the response they get from it. So children will cry when nothing is wrong because they realize crying is a form of communication. It gets them what they want, what they need. So from the time you were born, you develop strategies to cope with unfavorable circumstances. As infants, we learn the best techniques to get our needs met by our parents. And as we grow up, we make adaptations to help us endure pain, be it psychological or existential. Early in our lives, our defense mechanisms can feel like tools for our very survival. However, as we grow up, these same psychological defenses can start to hurt rather than help. Because of this, getting to know each defense mechanism that we formed over our lifetime will serve the deeper purpose of helping us break free of self-imposed limitations. Another set of words I want you to write down. Self-imposed limitations. By recognizing and shedding our outdated DMs, we can develop within ourselves, form deeper relationships, and start to live a life that looks more like the one we desire and less like the one we were prescribed by our pain. I'm Apostle Dr. Suzanne Howard. You have just completed night 6 of Soul Detox. I want to thank you for being with us tonight. I want to encourage you to continue on this journey with us. I want you to be aware that Suzanne M. Howard Mental Health Coaching is not any counselor or coach to the viewers. We are not operating in the role of being a therapist to whomever is viewing. This site is for information and education where is regards to your mental health. I want to thank you for being on with us tonight. I want to encourage you to get on tomorrow night, same time, same station. You can find us on any of the places you get your podcast from. Please download the Spaces app wherever you get your apps from, whether you're Google or Android or Apple. And the assessments will be mailed out tomorrow evening via the email for you to respond the latest Monday night with those. Please try to obey the time frames that are put in place because we have more people to deal with than we actually have for coaches to help out with. I see Sabrina. Thank you very much for just ordering your book online. I want to thank all those who gave in Cash App form. I don't have permission to read everyone yet again, but again, Dr. Vanessa gives $10 every night. Minister Brittany sold on last night. Pastor Yashika sold on many night, and all those that sold, but I do not have permission to use your name. Thank you so very much. We are ending for tonight. Breathe. Take a woosah. And I pray that you prosper and be in good health, even as your soul prospers. I do want to share this. I said I would, but I forgot to do it. Let me see how I get rid of this. I don't know if I can. How do I get rid of these things? Yeah, I don't know how to. Oh, right here, block. Nope. All right, I don't know how to get rid of these themes, but I talked to them last night that I was going to show you all different t-shirts we got. Here's one on tonight, and it says, be intentional about who gets to experience you. Be intentional about who gets to experience you. We were working the boundaries topic the other night. That was my prelude into the evening, starting So Detox Night 1. Boundaries are like life insurance plans for the life of a relationship. If you have any kind of relationship, you need to have boundaries. They are life insurance plans for the life of the relationship. So be intentional about who gets to experience you because you matter and you're worth it. Thank you for your time. And thank you for being on Soul Detox with us tonight. God bless you. And we will see you tomorrow night. Thank you again.
Let it Let it